Human appeasement. I think it's actually an interesting topic. Still disagree with you on a good amount of points, but I didn't dislike this video. Um, Human appeasement is something that we always gotta, consider and think about. Like, the appeasement of humanity is the thing that drives most of us. And the problem is most people don't get appeased because of the fact most people just go along with their culture, and their culture allows them to understand what they want to want, or want to dislike, or want to not want. And the appeasement just goes along with their level of comfortability. I mean, most people don't look to the point or see to the point that they can understand that everything around us is human made. Like the streets that we have, the houses that we have, it's all human made. I mean, we're just living in little boxes, so on and so forth, with our own little areas, so on and so forth. And we try to, make our boxes the best we can make our boxes. And I mean, there's no real direct connection with the outside world, so on and so forth, with these little boxes, because of the fact that if there was a real connection with these outside boxes, that it would be a completely different perception that comes about from it. But it's what humanity's evolved to. I ain't talking about cyborgs. I mean, the mixture of, humanity with technology, or humans with technology, is pretty much eventual. I mean, we're already coming up with AI. I came up with a formula for AI like fucking like 5 years ago, but I didn't produce it. I might produce it, but it's really simplistic and it works. It's just I saw the fucking Matrix. I ain't playing that shit. I want fucking computers to fucking go beat my ass. I ain't looking at no Terminator shit. And I'd hate to be the person. Never mind. They already got robots who do some loud shit. Besides the fact that I haven't actually produced the fucking my theory, so on and so forth. But I don't know, man. I got to be real. I got to be honest. The atheist perspective is simple. You eventually come to the conclusion that you'll die. That's the atheist perception perspective. I mean, no matter how hard you think about atheism as a viable source of understanding, you eventually die then. Like, that's it. You die. And that's the easier perception to have, and I can understand how people get depressed about it. I mean, you're, I think, more along the atheist line than most people. I'm not saying, like, I've been depressed before, so not trying to degrade that or say that, it's not cool, but I don't know. I have a problem with a lot of atheists thinking they came to the conclusion. I was reading one of the comments. They got like, one, two top comments. One of them was that, atheists believe that theists, don't have a rationale or don't have a good enough example for God, so on and so forth. I mean, like, wow, really? So that's your belief. Your belief is completely reliant theist. So if theists come up with a rationale or a good enough idea of God that atheists will now become theists, or like atheists just theists waiting to actually have theists tell the atheists that theism is the answer and this is why. Is that really what atheism is? I mean, I heard a couple people. I've heard a lot of definitions. Atheism is the disbelief in God, and I don't know. I find it kind of bad to, or just the thought process that a person can believe in something just by saying, I disbelieve in that, or just define themselves like this is my disbelief, so this is how I define myself. Is just like pretty much saying I'm non-Asian. That defines me. Okay, I can look at the Asian culture, everything that Asians believe, and say, everything Asian is not what I believe. I'm nothing Asian. So, fuck yeah, that's what I'm about. I'm not Asian. Okay, what the fuck does that say about me? It says that I haven't came to the point, the conclusion that I can actually say, what do I believe? And I mean, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to talk down to you, but truthfully, like, Asians, well, how'd I get? I did not mean to say Asians again. Give me 2 seconds. I need to get my fucking inspiration. Atheism. Atheists produce a lot of good stuff for America. I mean, George Carlin, Bill Maher, people I respect. But, like, George Carlin, a lot of the stuff he spoke, the real stuff he spoke about, was not atheistic in nature. It was humanistic in nature. It was the variables that help other people understand, what the fuck is good with the world. And these variables were simple. It was, fucking, oh man. These variables were simple. Humanistic in nature. Humanistic within themselves. But, truth be told, we can't we can't necessarily say or think in, you know, the thought process of God. Because when even your example of God, like, you know, why would I create this world, so on and so forth. I mean, fucking honestly, this world is just one world out of fucking thousands and thousands and thousands of fucking stars and, you know, galaxies, so on and so forth. The universe is fucking huge. And I made a video saying the universe was something like God's consciousness, you know, like all the inner workings, all intertwined. We can't understand it. And I mean, to actually think that the ability to actually understand God was within our level of comprehension, I think is arrogant. I mean, to understand God's understanding, like God's, just to understand God in and of itself, you have to go. You can't do it. We have not the mental capacity to truly understand God, and to think anything different is fucking arrogant. To understand God is like, I don't know. There's really no explanation to truly be able to understand God. I mean, to think about a creature or a being that could create everything, like create universes, have worlds end, create black holes, so on and so forth. To try to get that in your mental state, like, you know what, I can prove God. Like, you can't prove that one way or the other. Even if we have the mental capacity to do it, our society would be completely different. But we're focused on stuff like fucking, you know, reality TV. We're focused on all the fucking bullshit right now. So even if we have the capacity, have that ability, it's not going anywhere near that. And most fucking, you know, atheists don't actually talk about the ability to understand God. They wait for someone else to come up with an idea of God. Like, you know, oh, this is his idea, so it's over. This is a fucking retarded. I mean, I think if atheists spend more time thinking about the possibility of God, they learn to question a lot better. And I mean, some of the smartest people within the world, some of the people that we look back for fucking scientific understanding, scientific perception, and perspective, to which is still true to this day. Newton, Einstein, fucking, I had a third. Newton, Einstein. These people had fucking ideas of God that fucking are still around, so on and so forth. Einstein, you know, said that God doesn't play dice with the universe, the world. And you know, these are all different understandings that we can have. And to understand that, yes, animals do have a lot of stress and they do suffer a lot. But we don't know what happens after they die. We don't know what would happen if that animal lives, so on and so forth. We don't know exactly what the fucking conclusion was of that animal's death. It may have been stressful, but maybe it was meant to happen, meant to be. And we don't know that. But there's 20 different perceptions that one can have on these ideas, 1,000 more if you just want to look at the different like categories to which these single perceptions can have. I mean, Christianity has so many different viewpoints and understandings. There's like 35,000 different viewpoints of Christianity. It's not to say that, where am I going with this? Our perception of God changes because of the fact that we don't have the mental capacity to truly understand God. It's plain and simple. If we had the mental capacity, the mental ability to understand God, our whole perception of the whole world would be completely different. If we had a more humanistic understanding of God, or just a more of a humanistic understanding of ourselves and each other, we'd be in a lot better position. But we're not. And if more Christians followed Jesus on so what he taught, we would be in a lot better perception and perspective, and we'd be living in a better world. But if we had an atheistic world, what would we be doing? I mean, I asked that question because I really want to know. Like, if the whole world was atheist, what would the fuck would we be doing? Would we just be like living life? I think there'd be a lot of people that just get depressed. You know, a lot of you would think that, yeah, well, I'm gonna die. Okay, I'm continuing living this fucking bullshit life because I'm gonna die and that's it. So I'm just gonna try to do this again and again, and you know, maybe I'll contribute something. But I'm gonna die. And I guess the contribution part of it would be the most positive aspect of atheism, the contribution. Like I contribute this to the world. But the thing is, I don't know any atheists, major atheists that are on the level of Newton or Einstein. I mean, I don't know any. And that's just because of the fact that there are none. I mean, what atheists do you know are on the level of height or notoriety than Einstein and Newton are? And maybe that's just because we live in a culture to which, you know, a society, a world society that actually believes in God. At least a majority of people do. Maybe it's because of the fact the majority of people within the world believe in God, so people like Newton and Einstein have been raised to that perception perspective. But still, that's a humanistic perception. like George Carlin had. But still, these people who do contribute stuff. I mean, George Carlin as a comedian done a lot, but he hasn't. He's progressed thought process, thought understanding, realization. George Carlin progressed that to the highest degree. I will agree to that, but not like Einstein or Newton. And there is a fucking third that I fucking said was thinking of, but to say that this is it and this is all we are, it's depressing. No matter how which way you look at it. I mean, or you can look at it, like the glass is half full. Like, fuck, this is all it is. Well, fuck yeah, I'm gonna make the best out of it. But to come to the atheist conclusion, I think it's a lot harder to do it. I mean, the Amazing Atheist does it, but you can still see that there's a lot of cynicism in it. A lot of cynicism with his jokes, so on and so forth. And I don't know. I don't think a non-answer is never the answer unless you're looking for something like that. Deuces. And maybe, who knows, a couple years, maybe shit, a month or two, I'll be looking for a non-answer. But at this point in time, I think, belief in God still helps people. Deuces.